In the past year, I've made over $17,000 selling kits online. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys the 4-step process that I use when making kits. Start with number 1, concept. When you're making a kit, you need a plan. So there are 3 main questions you need to ask yourself before you get started. First, who is your audience? You need to know who's going to be buying your product. Broadly speaking, almost all of the people following us producers across social media are other producers. So this is your main target audience. Now we have a place to start, but we need to break it down a little bit more. So for me on YouTube, I make a lot of R&B/sample making content. And generally people are watching to get better at making melodies and samples, stuff like that. It's going to be different for everyone, but you need to understand why people are following you. And this leads us into the second question. Why should people buy your product? Since I knew my audience wanted to improve their melody and beat making skills, I knew I had to provide a product that would help them do that. Again, it's going to be different for everyone, but you need to provide real value and give your audience something that they can't get anywhere else. So then I asked myself the third question, what is your product? We all know the products that producers can sell, drum kits, samples, MIDI, the list goes on. Based on personal experience, sample packs are hard to sell unless you're an elite level sample maker. However, they are great for showcasing your sound. If you're a beginner producer and you want to get your brand out there, I would highly suggest dropping free sample packs. But if you want to make money, I think people are more willing to spend on products that give them the tools to make music. So when I figured this out and combined it with the fact that my audience likes to make R&B, it was a no-brainer for me to make an R&B multi-kit. I've now done 2 versions, Layers Volume 1 and 2, both being my highest selling products, well above the sample packs and drum kit. So now we have our concept. Let's move on to step 2, production. There are so many ways to make sounds, but for this video, I'm going to show you guys a couple quick tips. First one for making one-shots. First, you need to record a sound. I've got my guitar here. I like to use Pigments as a sampler. First, I turn on the granular. Next, I'm going to add some effects. In Pigments, you can use the utility engine to add even more texture. Then I added a few more external effects. Then we need to actually bounce it out and turn it into a one-shot. And there you've made your own one-shot. If you want to see a full tutorial on how to make and use one-shots, leave a comment below. Another tip for making kits, don't be afraid of outsourcing, especially if you know people that have equipment that you don't have. You could ask someone with a synth to make some sounds for you, or ask someone to run some sounds through their guitar pedals. In terms of workflow for making kits, I usually start by opening up pre-existing beats and turning those sounds into one-shots, perc loops, etc. And then when I set a specific time frame for releasing the kit, I try to make a certain amount of sounds. For example, I'll set a target of 5 Analog Lab presets per day. At this point, your kit should be done, so we're on to stage 3, marketing. The marketing is going to relate back to stage 1, the concept stage, but this time we need to figure out how to present the product to our audience. In my case for Layers, I knew there weren't many R&B kits out there, which instantly gives me a niche in the market. So this and the fact that you get so many sounds for such a cheap price are my 2 main selling points. Again, for each person it's going to be different, but you need to figure out what makes your product special. Another question you need to ask yourselves in the marketing stage is, how can I get people's eyes on my product? Obviously, you're going to be using social media as your main promotional tool, so here are 3 tips to help you do it. Number 1, artwork. Not only should the artwork look great, but it needs to convey to the audience what they're going to be getting. If we take a look at the original artwork for Layers Volume 2, you can see that it's visually pleasing, but it doesn't really convey to the audience what the product is about. Now, if we look at the final artwork for Layers Volume 1 and 2, you'll notice a couple of things. 1, there's consistency. Both of the covers are almost identical. This helps emphasize the brand and shows that they're both in the same series of kits. And 2, the simplicity. The main image in the center helps show the customer exactly what they'll be getting, as it perfectly matches with the name of the kit, Layers. Number 2, give detail. Don't just post the artwork by itself. Make promotional videos showing the sounds, showcasing what your kit is all about. Here's a perfect example from @itsvertx, who did this amazing promo video for his sample starter pack.
Oh, I forgot. Producers don't get hoes. So visit vertexmusiclibrary.com and get your free pack today.
And 3, utilize your community. Sharing on social media is so powerful. Make sure to hit up YouTube producers, industry producers. Offer the kit to them, but don't ask for anything or expect anything in return. I'm sure a good amount of them will share your kit just off the fact that you gave it them for free. And finally, keep promoting your product. Don't just drop it and then never post it again. I see that way too often. Keep posting it on your stories. Make new promotional material. A good idea is to make a graphic of the positive feedback you've had already and post it on your story or wherever you want to. And finally, we have step 4, release. To start with, you're going to need somewhere to sell your kit. So here are 3 different options. Number 1, Gumroad. This is the cheap option as it's free. I've sold all my kits through Gumroad. I've never had any problems. However, there are a few downsides. First, it's very basic and doesn't have a lot of customization options. And second, there is a hidden VAT charge that will show up in the checkout for customers, and that could lead them to click away. But overall, it's a great place to start, especially for beginners, and it's completely free. Number 2, Sellfy. A similar concept to Gumroad. You're going to get a bit more customization options. The downside is you're going to be paying a minimum of $22 a month, and probably more if you're making over 10K. And 3, your own website. This is the best option as it gives you complete customization. However, it's going to be difficult to make one if you don't have the expertise, and it's also going to be really expensive to pay someone who does have the expertise. Another thing you should consider is first week incentives, whether it's bonus sounds or a discount. Give something in the first week that's really going to make people want to buy your product. It's going to build excitement and push certain people who are on the fence to spend that money. But overall, the main thing I'd say is to give amazing value for money. You want your customers to be coming back to buy things you make in the future. I hope you guys have learned some valuable info for making and selling kits. If you have any questions, please just leave a comment. I'll be answering as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.